What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Uchiha 3, long face, skinny body, and we are back, still black with some more fire Boruto manga related content. Now, before you end the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's one video for the books. Let's hop into the business because we have a lot to discuss today. Yes, Sirski.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Now, since the original Naruto IP, man, all the way up into Shippuden, all the way up into Naruto Gaiden, all the way up into Boruto, the discussion of who is the strongest in the verse has been a topic of conversation that has fed families for generations. You feel me? From Madara to Obito to Kaguya to Naruto to Sasuke, all of these different candidates, all of these different possibilities, interesting abilities, and then we going into the Boruto area. We'll see how drastically exciting and how much more relevant this term, this conversation, this argument has become in the series. Now we're looking in verse, right? In world. This video has been something I've been wanting to do for y'all for a minute, and y'all know, like, generally, I just record, I start talking off the dome, and once I feel like I said what I had to say, boom, I call it a day, and I'm going ahead and edit and drop the video for y'all. I don't necessarily write scripts. I can't even say necessarily because I don't write scripts at all. I just write down the title so I don't forget the topic I want to discuss, and I just hit record. But this video, I was like, let me at least write down some key points so I make sure I don't want to, because there's been times where I'm doing a video, I stop recording, and I'm like, damn, I wanted to say that also, but I still feel, generally, I more than so got my point across. But this time, I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna miss nothing. So I wrote down some key points. I'm like, we're gonna go through each of these key points because I want y'all to understand this is very important for me, right? So we're just gonna get it out the way. It's always been Big Daemon. Y'all know my favorite character outside of Boruto and outside of Sakura and Sasuke, you know what I'm saying? The Mangekyo gangs, one of my favorite characters is Daemon. My guy Daemon been stepping since stepping was stepping. You feel me? Juice box and fruit snacks and hands and pockets all the time. So we're gonna talk about it, right? Now, just to get that out the way, it's always been Daemon. Y'all know I rocks with Daemon, you know what I'm saying? It's biased, but we're gonna completely look at all of the facts that point towards current individuals, current characters in story, in world right now. Who is the strongest amongst the strongest? Who can look at every other character in the story and say, yeah, it's not happening, fam, really? And I'm pretty sure we all got a general basis, a general idea. We're not even gonna run through the whole cast because at this point, it's Jura or it's Daemon. Let's keep it a buck. It's Jura or it's Daemon. Now we're gonna look at all of the instances, right? Because I said I'm not going to be biased, that points directly towards both characters. And just because I said I'm not going to be biased, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. As a Daemon, like 100%, I ain't gonna lie, it was points in the story where I'm like, undisputably, yeah, this guy Jura is the strongest, right? But then looking at the video, I'm like, aside from bias, aside from me wanting Daemon to be the strongest, let's look at all of the proof we have inside of the pudding. And then once actually doing my research, and it also hit me on top, because I don't rewatch or reread Boruto content, so it was kind of crazy. I'm like, a lot of these chapters, I read it once, and then I called it a day. Like, I never went back to it. So reading over a lot of these chapters was kind of mind-freshing for me. But I'm like, okay, the general basis of who's stronger between the two. There's been instances in both cases where we undoubtedly said, okay, Jura's the strongest, or okay, Daemon's the strongest. Okay, starting off towards the end of part 1, we're just gonna look over all of the instances for both characters, right, that puts them in two situations. So, right, versus characters that we can compare. So in this situation, we're going to do versus Boruto, versus Ko, versus Kawaki, and including Himawari inside of the mix, right? And then ultimately, we're going to do in situations in story where each character has placed themselves above the situation going on around. And that is going to be also very, very interesting. So now we're just going to make it easy, right? So we're just going to go right down the list, right? So we're going to start off with Boruto and Kawaki. Daemon in part 1, he made quick work. And I'm rereading this fight. When he first enters the house, something that they emphasized in part 1, Daemon, was that when he wanted to, He can disappear from the entire, like, your entire seeing vicinity, whether it be Code, whether it be Ada, whether it be Yamato, Bug, Boruto, Kawaki. There's instances where Daemon is there and then he's not there. And everybody is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where did this guy go? So Daemon instantly shows up in front of both Boruto and Kawaki, and he flexes upon flexing. Now, it lets me to believe something interesting, right? Because initially, when Daemon first met Code, he was about to reveal more of his abilities. We can automatically assume with headcanon he was just going to reveal, oh, I have to touch someone to reflect their abilities. But it was openly stated that they have more abilities and more secrets to be revealed. Now, in Daemon's case, we only seen a ability, singular, not plural. So there's going to be more things to Daemon. So there, already an ended loop, right? A possibility, right? Open-ended for Daemon to not only get stronger, but in our eyes to just get stronger. But in Daemon's case, the first opportunity to go all out or to actually use or access all of his abilities that are available to him. So versus both Boruto and Kawaki, he says something very interesting, right? Because Kawaki's trying to attack him with the Sukuna Hakuna, you know what I'm saying? And everything's getting reflected. So Daemon's like, all right, no more tricks, I promise. And then that line just led me to believe, wait, this whole time, Daemon's just been whooping ass, like belt to ass. This whole entire time, like no abilities. Like if it's reflected back at you as something you did, but other than that, he's really putting belt to ass ever since his introduction. So he's putting a pause on all of these people. Now we got with Jura's case. Obviously, we know what happens with Jura. And I think people are underestimating in terms of his situation with Boruto versus Kawaki, but this is more so in terms of Boruto. It's not the point of the video, but Boruto only got hit by one person in all 15 chapters of Two Blue Vortex, and that one person is motherfucking Jura. I digress, right? But Jura versus Boruto and Kawaki. We see in Kawaki's case, 2 shot, boom, 2 hits, boom, boom, and he was out for the count. We see in both Boruto's cases, he didn't even bring it upon himself to engage in conversation or engage in combat when Boruto was getting jumped. And then upon realizing the danger and the threat Boruto actually poses, he was like, all right, we finna snipe this, man. We got to take him off of the map. And Boruto was able to actually take a Bijou Bomb. Now we understand these same Bijou Bombs, Himawari was tanking the fuck out these mugs. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Now we can just go ahead and charge it to the fact that Himawari's durability, her regen is just that much more crazier than those around her, which would be acceptable. But at the same time, Boruto himself is Otsutsuki, and on top of that, he's Otsutsuki with Karma, and we've seen in times again throughout the story regenerative abilities being displayed in Boruto's case. So we just gonna have to chalk it up to durability in terms of, but then also like at that point, like I said, it's been 15 chapters. Boruto then fought the most people out of every character currently in story, and he finally gets hit. He's tired. Like give my man a break. But at the end of the day, we seen, you know, Jura, he two taps Kawaki, you know, and one shots Boruto with the Bijou Damam. So it's still ambiguous right there in that case in both situations. And then you want to tie in, okay, Daemon faced the younger Boruto and Kawaki, obviously a much stronger Boruto. It's speculated, is it a much stronger Kawaki? Is it a limited Kawaki? But still, you know, one shot in both regards, very easy, no diff in both regards. So now we're going to move on to the more interesting aspect. Boruto and Kawaki was there. Now we got Code and Himawari, right? And we're going to just start off with Jura because it was just that crazy, right? Jura's hands pocket, you feel me, leaned up against the wall, boom, Bijou Dama to the arm. It wasn't that much of a tussle. Let's keep it a buck. Code, Karmasil, no Karmasil, it does not matter. Now, I think everybody has accepted that at this point, once Code got his limiters removed, he reached a certain power level that we understand he has not digressed. So either he's at the same point or he's gotten stronger. And we understand Code isn't necessarily a trainer. So I'm just going to leave it up for you guys to decide. However, we understand the amount of difficulty it took for Jura, damn near none, to make Code run and say, all right, bro, we just going to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, just make this deal and then do what we got to do. Now, in Daemon's case, right, it's very interesting. And I feel like a lot of people should go reread the chapters with Code getting his limiters unlocked. Daemon is looking at this guy like, bro, he just got unleashed all of this power. And he's so surprised because he's like, yo, his hair went from red to white, bro, and it just crazily baffles me because now I'm looking, Ada is even shocked that Code's powers being released, right? So we go on to the actual fight. First things first, Code presses Daemon. He tries to catch him off guard. Daemon completely disappears from his sight. Boom, kicks him in the back twice. Not even kicks him twice. He kicks him down into the ground and then lands on him, right? and then Code disappears with his claw marks. A little bit of talking goes on. Daemon lands one more nice kick and basically says something interesting. He's like, yo, it looks like to me you can beat Jigen. Sasuke and Naruto shouldn't be a problem, but I ain't gonna cap number 3, number 2, whatever you know, it don't matter to me. Number 1, he lets everybody knows I am number 1. Now that's gonna be very interesting, especially moving forward. But in terms of Code, we understand even in this case, it wasn't really much going on. Now in Daemon's case, it took him 3, if you want to count the fact that he landed on Code's back, 3 or 2 hits to completely make Code run for his life. And also, he was on sick mode. Now, if y'all understand what that means, when you got a dog, you tell him to sick him. Ada basically, had Daemon on a leash this chapter. Rewatch the fight, reread the fight. If you really missed this aspect of it, Daemon didn't move until Ada said so. So Daemon had his hands in pockets a lot of times throughout the fight, which is something I didn't realize because it also led me to believe, okay, Daemon had to do a little bit of effort, but it wasn't hard to beat Code. Not necessarily. Daemon was just simply reacting, meaning Daemon reacted twice in instances where Ada said Daemon, and Daemon instantly moved and made a move against Code, and then Ada let him know again, okay, we're gonna get rid of you right now. And then Daemon was like, all right, it's time, bro. He's like, are you stupid? Did you not hear what she said? Relax. And in both cases, Daemon refrained from hitting Code. The first time he attacked Code on Ada's command, he simply grabbed him and prevented him from killing Amato. The second time, he simply pushed him away from Amato. The only times he actually landed a hit on Code was when Code went to hit him and he simply counterattacked. And these are all many aspects that I missed, not too big, but at the end of the day, the results are still the same. No diff, easy money, you know what I'm saying, we got it. Now, in both of these situations, or all of these situations, what do we have to understand? Jura and Daemon, they're just walking through the cast at this point, right? So now, this is where I said the moneymaker is. Situations where both characters places themselves above the situation at hand. And this is where we actually start to get deeper into it. And this is where I started to, because y'all, I said it again, I'm biased with Daemon, but I started to refrain from the idea that Jura actually might be stronger because I'm like, okay, everything that's been in Daemon's character, he tends to follow by. And everything that we've understand to learn with Jura's character as he develops, he tends to follow by, showcasing even these aspects within the last chapter when it comes to naming Ryo, when it comes to giving Code a task, when it comes to, keeping tabs on Boruto and understanding the severity of the situation, right? Everything stays in character usually for these two. Now with Jura, we see him introduction-wise. His people are fighting. Not only are they fighting, they're fighting possibly the only one in this world who poses a threat to them outside of the obvious conversation topic with Daemon in Boruto. Yet he decides to keep his hands in his pocket, float above the scene, and talk about just life. He's just like, yeah, it's all things develop, all things grow, past, present, future, long dead. It's just about evolving, And Code, I ain't gonna lie to you, whatever you just did is kind of crazy. We're evolving, and I think I'm kind of interested right now in seeking something. He's just talking, just chilling, hands in his pocket the entire time, and it automatically let us know before even getting confirmed by Kashin Koji. Jura, this guy has to be the leader of the Shinju. He has the patterns on his body that we haven't seen since, 6 paths and 8 paths since we've seen Ishiki, and then he's just carrying himself in a way and a means that lets you know, okay, he's giving all of these Shinju directive. He's giving them all of them a sense of identity, and he's telling Boruto, yo, in an urgent situation where he can seal the deal and obviously end the fight, he's like, yeah, bro, I'm not even worried about you right now, right? So he placed himself above that situation. Now, similarly, we already went over Kawaki's case, but in Kawaki's case, when he came front to front and face to face with Kawaki, and even again with Kawaki in Delta, you see him placing himself above situations where in the means of facing someone like Himawari, even being actively, present, or in terms of turning his attention towards someone like Boruto whenever they're face to face. When he saw Boruto, when he saw Kawaki, when he saw Delta, hands in his pocket, he's just sitting there chilling. Kawaki's getting so mad because he's like, bro, not only he knows he can't do nothing, but he's like, what is this dude thinking? So situations like that lets us know Jura is above the situation. He don't really got to get his hands dirty, right? He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do the third, right? And he's just letting us know, yeah, I'm gonna just end it right here. He's sniping Boruto for miles. Delta can't even see the village from where they're at. And he's pinpointing Boruto's like, yeah, I just missed his vitals. Oh, well, let's just go ahead and get another shot and see what's going down. The most in-our-face answer, Kashin Koji flat out saying Jura is a monster, right? Boruto admitting he can, you know what I'm saying, he understands the threat of the Shinju, but with someone like Jura, their leader, he can't beat him on his own, right? So Jura has been already, you know what I'm saying, completed with the fact that he killed Boruto in multiple futures. He feeds Kawaki to multiple different telltales and ends up planning a god trainer world. Jura is a problem. And not only that, the story already led to the ambiguous notion, what if he eats a chakra fruit? What if Jura continues to evolve? Can he get stronger? He's the main body at the Ten Tails at the end of the day, right? And then we lead into the Himawari aspect and the notion of that he wants to wonder what it's like to go all out. And Himawari is the one that gave him that feeling. Himawari is the one that made him consider, okay, I just let out a little bit of power and I ain't gonna lie, it's exciting. What happens if I get to go all out, right? And we see in all the other cases where he comes across characters, where he comes across animosity, Himawari was the one that actually invoked any type of emotion from Jura that he hasn't experienced before, and a type of excitement. And we see in that case, he's moving around, he's flying around, and he's taking punches, and he's like, bro, this shit is low-key kind of fun. And he was like, I want to know what it's like to go all out against you, right? And then we move to Daemon, right? In situations where he puts himself above the situation, in situations against Himawari, right? Similar, now we're going to start with Himawari in Daemon's case, because he never got the chance to fight her. Himawari was the only person that piqued Daemon's interest, even albeit for the split second that it was. And he said, okay, you know what I'm saying? You dodging a punch like that could have been very easy. Like, what's going on? What was that intensity I just sensed from you? And he understood that it was something very real. Opposed to everybody Daemon came across and sensed in the village. Nobody. Boruto with Momoshiki, Kawaki, his potential, the Itsushiki thing, the Karma Seal, nobody piqued his interest but Himawari. So we can see in both cases with Jura, who actually got to fight Himawari, and Daemon, who got to sense a glimpse of her power, they wondered, okay, like, what's this intensity? And in Jura's case, he's like, I wonder if I can go all out against you. Would it be fun, right? Now, in Daemon's case, we know he has never went all out in his life. And he said specifically to Boruto, get tons of times stronger so I can finally fight all out for the first time in my life, right? So that lets us know that not only he hasn't fought all out, Jura also hasn't fought all out, but they still want to face someone that can bring that type of power out of them. Now, going forward in Daemon, he places himself above situations. Boruto comes back into the village. He gave Boruto a task. Now, if Boruto would have completed said task, Daemon, being in character, would have done the first thing that he would have done. Ran out the village and said, Boruto, it is time to fight now. But no, he sensed one of Boruto's strongest attacks not his strongest form, but the Ozuhiko, and he said, that's nifty. Now, as someone who's already been stamped as the strongest, do you guys not think that's just automatically placing yourself above the situation? Meaning all of that fighting that's going on outside, at the end of the day, my sister is right here. If it comes any closer to the vicinity, I will handle it. Now, people can say it's very disingenuous or ambiguous to think Daemon of that notion, but then I like to say, let's go back to part one. And something like I said, refreshing and rereading this story actually gives me like, I didn't know I was missing these informations. So something about Daemon that's real interesting is that not only does he say Jigen, Naruto specifically, in the Hokage, you know what I'm saying, in Uchiha, and then claims himself to be number one, but he even says very interesting things in terms of his conversation with Amato and in reference to Kawaki. Now we understand Ishiki reviving through Kawaki was the end all be all. And we understand now currently that Kawaki still has his powers limited, meaning he hasn't even tapped into the full offensive capabilities that he's able to produce from having Ishiki's Karma Seal. Now, Amato in part one explained to both Daemon and Ada that Ishiki's karma in Kawaki is likely to keep growing stronger, and Kawaki will keep growing stronger. And even at that point, no one in the village, even the Hokage, could keep his powers in check. Ada jumped in, and Daemon jumped in and said, that doesn't matter. I can beat that dude with no sweat. Now, this is referring to a Kawaki with Ishiki's power to likely keep on growing. And Daemon said, no sweat. I can beat him. And then Ada follows up and says, like Daemon said, he can keep Kawaki's power in check. Now, this isn't just the part one Kawaki. This is with Amato explaining his powers are likely to continue to grow. Ishiki's karma. And Daemon just shoves it out. He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And Daemon also says something else interesting that I think we overlook. He says, Like, yo, it doesn't matter if they're Otsutsuki or whatever. At the end of the day, I'm going to be the one to protect my sister from them. So that lets us know that Daemon isn't like just saying he's stronger than Jigen. He's stronger than... He's saying, bro, if you're an Otsutsuki, you're not. I'm putting the pause on you. It don't matter who you are. So a lot of these things leads me to believe that, okay, maybe Daemon is actually even way stronger, which is crazy to even think than we consider, or way stronger than we even fathom. But going even further, fast forward through 2 Blue Vortex. Jura popping up in the village, Hidari popping up in the village, even Himawari, the one who piqued Daemon's interest initially, ending up firing Bijou bombs and doing all of this, yet Daemon, for some reason, he's chilling, just minding his business. So that lets me to believe either one or two things. Either one, Kishimoto just doesn't know what to do in a situation where he would accidentally bring these two in the same vicinity together, or two, Kishimoto is trying to let us continue to speculate who is stronger. Why aren't they confronting each other? There's been times where we speculated prior to Himawari fighting Jura, would Daemon interrupt? This is Daemon's time, and we see in character for Daemon, either he's chilling or he's on demon time, and he's been tied at the chill the entire time. So I don't want to say that automatically lets me believe that Jura didn't interest Daemon, or Jura didn't, get his peak. But even with Ada saying these monsters are stronger than Cold, are out of the league, you know what I'm saying? They're targeting Naruto, Kawaki, they're targeting me. Daemon didn't really care so much about the conversation that was going on. He more so cared of, is Kawaki gonna get caught now or what? So I don't know if that just leads me to believe, or leads us to, to think that Daemon, in his mind, he's like, yeah, I know these Shinju are alive and a problem now, but at the end of the day, I still don't think they can defeat me. It's really up for debate. But with all of these points being laid out, right? And in each situation, in each case with Jura, with Daemon, placing themselves above situations, showing themselves superior to the other characters that showcases godlike abilities, it's really, really hard. And I'm taking away my bias for me to even say, yes, I think Jura can completely whoop Daemon, or Jura is completely stronger than Daemon. Or yes, I think Daemon can completely whoop Jura, or Daemon is completely stronger than Jura. Now, bias, I want Daemon to win. Now, even my bias won't allow me to say I believe Daemon is going to put, but if we're going to simply argue the fact, and I'm going to include my bias, yes, I'm going to root for Daemon all day, every day. However, looking at it realistically, and with all of the things the story has laid out, it's hard to say. It's really kind of too hard to say. It's really hard to say. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys, no bias included. Who do y'all think is the strongest currently right now in the story? Who do y'all think would win if they were to face each other right now, whether it be Jura or my guy Daemon? Now, y'all already know my personal choice, but everything, like I said, is up in the air, and all of the stats are right there. It's your boy Black Child. Holla at your boy. Let me know how y'all feeling and your thoughts on the video. I'm going to holla at y'all. Black Child. Yes, sir. Ski.